Hello everybody and welcome back to the channel. Welcome back to Satisfactory with me, your host, Parallax. What another wonderful day in the factory. Another wonderful day trying to figure out where it all went wrong. Oh goodness. These aren't even working, are they? They can't get water. Okay. Let's just start with the math, okay? 120 per minute, and there's 4 of them. So 4 at 120 per minute. 2 is 240. That's going to be 480. 480. The water comes up. First place it goes into is this guy, who takes off 180 of the water. And this guy takes off 180. This guy would like 180, I'm sure. He doesn't get it, though. Where does that water go to? It's filling up a stupid tank because I somehow ran it back into this. Am I an idiot? It was filling up that tank down there is where all the water was going. That's supposed to be an over, and these are connected, so they should be. Nope, they're not connected. They will be here in a second. This was supposed to just be a stopgap measure for the. Supposed to be a stopgap measure for this having too much water and these things not keeping up, because these things turn off if you're not using the electricity they provide. Right, I think we just saw it right there. I think that one just turned off because we're not using all the electricity that they make, so they just turn off. It'd be so nice if we just tell him to do it. Oh no, maybe he was turning off because he doesn't get enough water, which I think is fine. Right, I think we knew that there wasn't going to be enough water to run these things. Oh, where's your water output? You guys go to a different. Yeah, I built other things over there. Okay. So now we understand that those things aren't producing enough water because they only produce 140, and each of these guys takes 180. So there needs to be one more down here. How much do you hold? You can do up to 600. Okay, so we can in fact add one more water extractor down here if it'll fit. Oh my goodness, it doesn't fit. Look at that. Look at that. Oh no, we can't build it. We don't have enough rotors. Alright, let's go steal some rotors. Hey everybody, welcome back. If you don't know what's happening, the last time that we met, it was on a very difficult I don't know, maybe I was tired, maybe it was too early, or maybe I'd just been playing too much, but my brain was fried and I had no idea how to fix that problem back there. So I just said, you know what, sleep on it, come back the next day. That's what we did. But it appears as though we need some rotors. So we're going to run back to the factory and we're going to snag some rotors. If you can believe it or not, there's actually a mod that makes this game more difficult. Like there's a mod that makes it where you have to have like thousands and thousands of different components just to produce the level, the phase 4 stuff. That I think is what I see on Reddit when I'm like, man, some of these people are like really into this game and they build these big factories. I think what they're doing is they're playing that. I really need 300. I probably don't need 300 of these things. I'll take that one back. I feel like I could just take a second here and check if there's anything else I'm going to need. 100 of those, 200 of those. Have enough motors. That looks good. That looks good. That's fine. That's okay. I don't need to have... Hold on, what is it? Nope, I don't need to have that in my pocket. I don't need to have this in my pocket anymore. I need some fuel when I get a chance. Copper wire. It'd be nice to steal some copper wire. It would be sure nice to steal some copper wire. Now I am making a ton of copper wire over here somewhere, so let's go steal it. 500. I'll take one more stack of 500. I'll give you the 5. Okie dokie. I think that's good. it would be super nice to get all this copper sheet as well. Are you the copper sheet user? You are. I'll give you 35. I'll top off my ammunition stores, and then here I'll top off my explosive stores. Okay. Oh, look, the plastic is backed up. That's super interesting. The plastic is backed up. Is the plastic backed up because something else is backed up? Oh. No, look at that. We're not backed up on the circuit boards. The circuit boards are flowing out. But the plastic is now backed up. Well, I'm happy to see that. And we've talked about, we've discussed adding another layer over here, like going through and doing this, right, where we add a layer here, like all the way out, and then we make more circuit manufacturers, because both, I mean, we already have it set up, right? We can just plop them down right here, and then we'll be pulling off this line, and then more circuits will be made. So that might be something that we do here in a moment when we get this absolute Charlie Foxtrot of a situation out here taken care of, where we're trying to get more of these aluminum plates. And I have to admit that our work is showing an improvement. Like, there are more of these aluminum plates being sent over. Like, we are doing good work. It's just kind of to get aluminum is an absolute pain. An absolute pain. And if I could do it again, I would not be dropping that down. I would have built the factory up there, so there would just be tons of room, and the only thing that would be coming down out of the mountain would be the ingots. So he says. Okay, let's go down here and try to get this to work. So production, water, extractor, perfect. Let's see if we can make it look right. Okay. I know this is going to look stupid, but this whole area has just become, let's say, disingenuous. 3. Where's our pole at? There we go. How's that extracting water? Are we doing it? Okay. So there's an awful lot of water being pumped through this. Flow rate is at its maximum. Flow rate of 600, max flow rate of 600. Does that mean that we're at 600 here? I don't think so. 120 times 5? Oh, I guess it would be 600. Because there's 5 20s and a $100 bill. So there's 600. So we're at our max. Like, this is as most waters you can pump through this system. Which begs the question. Oh, it's because we're running this one thing. Yeah. So you're getting your 50, you're happy. You're getting your 50, you're happy. It gets to 28. And it's idle for a second. More comes into the system. Geez, I wonder if I shouldn't rip that part right there up, extend this out, and put in a fluid reservoir, like one of the 2400 fluid reservoir things, and then just have this pump into that reservoir and have it pull out when it needs it. That way it wouldn't be like, oh, I don't need it right now, so that one over there turns off, and then, oh, I need it now, so it has to turn on. Let's do that. Let's rip this up. Let's rip this up. Oh, not that. Okay, and then let's go over here to this foundation, and the foundation out. And let's do one of the big ones. Let's do one of the big buffers. Of course, I knew it. I knew it. I was running past the plastic. I was running past the plastic, and I told myself, might as well grab some plastic. And I said, no, I don't. You know what? Where's that other reservoir? I think I built 4. There. Now we don't have to leave. But I knew it. I knew it. I told myself, I was like, grab you some plastic before you leave. It doesn't really, I mean, it clips something, but it doesn't like really clip something. It only pretends to clip something because we can rip that up. It's okay. All right, now go down here, transport, like Mark II. There were 2 right there. Why did I fall? You up and out to that. Then a Mark II pump. And then you to Mark II pump. Okay. See, with this, the fill rate will be 600. Okay. Now let's try this. The girls are up. I love how happy my daughter is to talk to the cat every morning. She does that really high-pitched, you know, like, oh, sweetie pie. Like, she does it every morning. Very loud when she sees the cat. I love it. If only the cat, like, understood what was happening and, like, the genuine amount of love that she was feeling, that he should be feeling, that he'd be like, oh, this is good stuff. But every now and then he bites her because he has no idea what's happening. So we're filling more than we're draining. That's great. And I really wish that Factorio had more things like this where you could just put them into, like a amp meter. You put an amp meter on a circuit, and then like it'll tell you kind of like what's happening. Like it'd be so great if you could walk around with a little voltmeter and you could put it on things like, oh, that's how much I'm producing. Oh, that's how much because this right here tells you. This straight up tells you you're producing this much, and then you're draining this much, because it knows how much those industries need to run. So like this is what you're draining and this is what you're producing. This is your difference. Like you will, like your net, you're filling up this tank. You're not filling it up by a lot, but you are filling it up. And see, this is the problem I think I'm having, is I don't want it to be, I want this to be consistent. Like this whole thing over here, I want them taking water out at a consistent rate, and they just don't do it. Like when they only have 50 in here, right? And when they get through, I think this one's good. Like this one should fill up back to 50. So this one should be running at 100%. I say should be running at 100%, but apparently 94% is as good as it gets. That one's running at 100%. But these up here, they just 37%. They just can't get the water pumped up to them. God, it's so annoying. Should we put baby buffers in here? Should we put the little industrial buffers here and then one there, so that this is filling up the little buffer, so that the little buffer is always pumping out to these things? Is that what needs to happen? God, what a pain. What a pain in the butt. What's wrong? Encroaching on someone else's clearance? Whose other clearance? Then a pump. Let's just do a Mark 1 pump. We don't need a Mark 2. Okay. So now this thing should be filling up with water from the main line. And then when it fills up with water, it'll fill this tube up with water. It'd be nice if I could somehow dump all this water back into the system. Like pressurize it. I don't think I need that right now. Yeah, so little water comes out as a byproduct. I don't think it's a big deal. Look at that. Look at how much it's pulling out. It's this one. Oh, I don't know, man. Maybe I should have water from here coming down straight this way. And maybe they shouldn't be trying to steal water from this one pipe. Like, they shouldn't be... Like, even though this pipe can hold 600, I don't know if it can actually transport 600 consistently. That's the problem, is it's not holding 600 consistently. You see how wildly this is? Like, the flow rate here? It needs to be consistent. And I was hoping that's what this would do, is it would act as a capacitor, and it would just level out the consistency of the system. And maybe it will once it gets full. It's a Mark II pump right there, so it's pumping as much as it can pump. Yeah, the flow rate it's 600. And that's 600. Maybe I should unhook this for a second and just let this thing fill up with water. Don't know. Loses a lot. Losing a lot. Gains some. Loses a lot. 30% efficiency. 47% efficiency. You see what I'm saying, though? Like, it seems to me like this would be the smart play, is that you would have a reservoir of water that this thing could always pump from, and it would be a consistent flow. It would be a consistent pumping of water, so that this thing always would just be happy. This is just a shitty layout. That's not, you know, like, let's not beat around the bush. This is absolute 100% trash. I built a trash layout. You want to fix this problem? We start right here. We blow all this stuff up, and we build a very large flat surface, and we start over. Oh, good. They know I'm here. And if I die right now, that'd make me so mad. Anyway, but that's how we fix this problem. We just rip all that up, or we just build right out there, nice flat surface. We rip all this absolute monstrosity, ugly piece of trash up, and we lay it out nice, even, and flat. Preferably as close to the water as we possibly could. I'm hoping that when this fills up with water, the whole system will become a little bit more, and it should be, because this is, you know, physically it's halfway full, and because the water being pulled is out from the bottom, then the water flowing out from here should be 600. It should be a constant rate of 600. We should not have a fluctuation in flow rate, because the water pressure behind it should always be 600. But I don't know why there's a fluctuation in flow rate. Does it need to be pumped? Do I need to put a pump here so that the pump is physically pushing it along at 600, there should be no fluctuation in the flow rate. Doesn't make sense. This is where this is what's screwing us up, because we're not getting 600 per minute constantly. They're not getting their 600 a minute. I want this to be a, you know what, I'm gonna unhook it. I'm gonna unhook it for a second. I'm gonna let this thing fill up. No drain rate, just fill up. Once it gets all the way full and then there's pressure behind it, I'm gonna hook that back up and see if the flow rate changes. See if there's a oscillate. I mean, tell me I'm wrong. Tell me that that's not how the fluid works. And you'd probably be right, because I know nothing about fluid dynamics. But to me, it would just seem like if it was underwater and submerged, that there's always going to be. I mean, because that's what like timer, like the world's first timers were nothing more than vessels with a hole punched in the bottom, and they put water in. Oh, of course, it's a timer, not a clock. The flow rate does lessen the amount of pressure in the vessel. Let's do this. Let's let this thing fill all the way up, and then if we still can't get what we want, if we can't get a flow rate that's consistent, then we'll put a pump there, and hopefully the pump will force the pipe to always run at 600 meters cubed per minute. I know we're waiting here, and it's not very fun, but I want to wait till it gets all the way to 2400. Okay. Okay, all right, 2400. Mark II pipe from there to there. Okay. And now there's a drain rate, but the fill rate and the drain rate ought to be the same. Okay. So that right there is pressurized, the fill rate and the drain rate are the same. So now the pressure here should not fluctuate at all. So it has acted as a capacitor. That's exactly what I wanted it to do. I wanted this thing to act as a, I probably did not need I probably did not need a 2400 meter cubed vessel. I probably could have done it with a smaller one. But oh nope, there's a fluctuation that we did not want. There's a fluctuation that we did not want. Okay, maybe that was a hiccup from that thing over there filling up. Let's go look and see if this thing is filled up. This one should be filling up just tons and tons. It should be filled up all the way, because there's 2400 liters over there that's spilling out into this one. So, oh, maybe yeah, maybe that's the height it ought to be. But even in moments when, let's see, it still just can't get freaking water. And the thing has happened where I'm flying up. Is it shift? Yeah, if you hold down the shift button and you hit space, it'll constantly fly you up. But why? That thing right there is so full of water. And that is so full of water. Why are you having... Oh, then now you're up to 50. Constructing. Down to 20. Why aren't you filling up? Why aren't you filling up? Like, why are you waiting? Like, what's the problem? There's so much water right there. I don't know. I don't know. Another Mark 1 pump. That. It won't even work. There it goes. Let's see what happens. 45%. 56%. But now I just can't get water. Even though there's water right there. I have no idea. I have no idea how to simply pump water from a pipe that should be carrying 600. Current amount in the pipe is 22.7. What am I doing wrong? I know what I'm doing wrong. I know what I'm doing wrong. If there's only 22.7 in that pipe, like if that's it, I just ripped up a power line too. I hate that. You will point at something, like you will point the deconstructor at something, and just because it thinks something else is in between you and it, it'll rip it up. There was a power line right there, and that power line is now gone, and I have no idea what it went to. Everything looks like it's on. Maybe the power line went to the pump that I was standing in front of. All right. Okay. So now what we're going to do is we're going to put one of these right here. Look at that. That's hooked up to that, which is hooked up to that. So I think that one needs to be there. 9. Go straight this way. Is that straight? Okay. Here. Encroaching on someone else's clearance. Well, why'd you let me build the pipe? You know what I'm saying? Like, why'd you let me build the pipe if it's encroaching on something else? Like, wouldn't the pipe have also done that? What is it encroaching on? What's this? This guy here? Okay. Is that better? Not gonna yell at me now? Nope. Okay. Now they're gonna get their own dedicated pipeline. So the water comes out of here. It goes into this thing and fills up with 20, 24 point whatever. Now they're just going to get their own dedicated pipelines. Their own dedicated Mark 1 pumps. Okay, let's try this setup. See how this works. Because maybe, just maybe, these things can have a flow rate of 600. But maybe they can't have but 22.7. And because this thing needs 20, then, this one needing 20, that one needing 20, that one needing 20, that one needing 20, that's 40, that's 80. So maybe, I don't know, maybe it just can't provide enough all the time. That one's at 100%, that one's at 100%. This one has its own dedicated pipe now. That's at 66%. 58%. 62%. It's idle For no reason, it has the water. Why can't it just have that reservoir filled up where it's like 45 and just stays there? Is it the pump that's screwing it up? Let's do one without a pump. We'll do one with a pump. 44%. And then this one just doesn't have a pump. Okay, so nothing. Like it doesn't even work anymore. Take the pump off. I'll let the pipe just do the work. Because the pipe has like a little built-in pump thing, I guess. I have no idea. I have no idea how fluids work in this game. I don't understand how pumps work. Like, I understand, like, when this stuff makes water, the water can slush back and forth in the pipe. Like, I get that. But if it's producing the water, then there's pressure. So there's already... The water won't slush backwards, right? There's a pressure moving it forward because these guys are physically pumping it into the pipe. Down here, this is physically pushing that pressure. It's just helping the pressure along, right? It's just helping the pressure along up into here. If anything, this might be slowing it down because there's so much pressure here from the original input into the pipe. If this thing doesn't spin as quickly, then it's going to slow it down. I assume that's not the case because this is a Mark II pump and these are Mark I water extractors, right? I have Mark II pipe everywhere. There might be like one connector that's not. Yep. That's what I just was thinking. That I was like, there might be one connector that's a Mark I pipe that could be slowing everything down. There we go. That's all Mark II now. Going into that connector, which it shouldn't have mattered because the Mark I pipe, well, that only holds 5. Well, anyway, that's now a Mark II pipe. Hold on. This is 5 out of 5. Interesting. 5 out of 5. Oh, it's accruing a certain amount. I see. Over here, we're getting up to 19.5. Anyway, let's just go ahead and make sure that all of that is Mark II pipe. All along that main bus is Mark II. Good. But then it comes up to here into what I would call a capacitor. I would call it as some type of giant reservoir that keeps the pressure up. Like there's an intense amount of pressure here. Maybe this should have went up one more level. Maybe that should have been built here and it should have been pumped all the way up one more level. So then there would be this like waterfall effect where the water is falling out of that pipe into this pipe. So it's trying to keep all this under pressure. Maybe that's the problem. Maybe that's the problem. Maybe it should have went up one more level. Maybe that's what should have happened. It should have went up one more level so that this is acting as like a, you know what I'm saying? Like it just keeps pressure applied to it. So that because that's what I'm mad about is that the flow rate alters. Like it's doing great right now. Then all of a sudden it just takes a nosedive. I don't want that. I want the pressure to always be 600 because that's what these need. These need 600, and they never need to stop. Let's do that. Let's make a small fluid buffer. We don't need to have the big one. The big one was superfluous. We can do it with a small one. There's a guy who I think got really mad at me. He might have even left the channel. He might have unsubscribed, but he was watching one of my playthroughs. And he was like, I was really looking forward to this playthrough, but you don't know what you're doing, so I stopped. And I was like, oh. He was just like, go and watch the tutorials. Like when the game gives you a tutorial, like listen to it. I just can't, man. I just can't. I like figuring things out for myself. And it's not because It's not because I feel like I'm super duper smart and that no one can explain things to me. It's just better if I learn them myself. It's just, I think this is part of the game. You know what I mean? Like, I think this is part of the journey. It's no different than there being a, in my mind, it's no different than there being a boss, and the boss, like a boss battle, and you're trying to figure out like, oh, I don't know how to beat this boss. Like, I don't know what to do. Should I do this? Should I do that? Like, to me, it's the same as that. Like, I see this as like a mini boss in the game. It's trying to figure out how this works. Right. I'm going to let this happen until this is full, and then when this is full, I'm going to just hook it back in. Okay. Maybe I should have done one of the big ones. Maybe I should have done one of the big ones. Maybe one of the big ones would have more. There'd be more pressure pushing down. Oh, do they click together? Like if you put them like right next to each other, do they automatically fill up? Do you know how great that would be if they just automatically filled up and you didn't have to? You'd have to like physically put in a pipe. There it is. All right, let's let these fill up, and then we'll have it come out this side to that pipe down there, and we'll see if it makes more sense. Like if it keeps this thing flowing like a waterfall. Because this right here, I mean, I would assume because the water is up here that it would kind of be pushing down on it, but maybe it needs to be physically higher than when it comes in. You know what I mean? Like maybe that's just how it's coded. Because I don't know how difficult it is to code. Because I don't know, like to us, we see it and we understand that there's a difference in height, but the game might not. The game might just look at the input and output, and if they're on the same level, it might just be like, well, there's no pressure there. They're on the same level. All right, wrap this up. Rid of that. Rid of that. Okay. I want this to fill up with 21 units of water, and then I want the flow rate to be 600. I never want it to stop. It's also doing it. Oh, maybe the twitches got smaller and smaller. Let's see if the next one's a big twitch. Yeah, dang it. Maybe that's not a problem. Maybe that's not a problem. Maybe that's 100% okay for it to behave that way. I just wouldn't think so. I would think that the amount of water we're pulling is the 600. Okay, who's now more efficient? You're at 60% efficiency. You are at 75% efficiency. Okay. So maybe with the pump there, maybe the pump is better. That's getting up to 80. But now look at that. Now it has 50. Then it fills back up with 50 once it's done. Okay. Alright, let's see if we can put a pump back on you. A Mark 1 pump. Same place. That one right there looks full. I love that you can visually see how much water is flowing through it. And that one right there looks full. So we're up to 50 on that. 94% on that one. So this one I assume is going to start climbing in its efficiency. The best thing would be if it gets to 50. Like if it gets to 50 water in its reservoir, like in its internal tank. Come on, come on. Keep climbing, keep climbing, keep climbing. It just can't do it. For whatever reason, this first one, man, it just can't do it. That's at 100% efficiency. %, efficiency. And then you're at 400, right? Yep, 400 out of 400. You're at 400 out of 400. Max flow rate is 600. Oops, sorry folks. I plugged in my phone. So sorry. I know that breaks the fourth wall, but I plugged in my phone for it to charge. My apologies. Okay, wheel. Let's just go look over here and let's see if we get 100% on these guys. 83% here. But it has 50 out of 18. And it gets up to 50 out of 18. So these are good, I think. Yeah, the water just rolling downhill, right? Going downhill into these things and it just making sense for the water to flow into it. That's great. Up here, it just doesn't make sense to pump it up. What if we, now that we have this labeled out, what if we pump it straight up and we put up a tank in front of this? And we do that. What are these sitting at? 72%? What are you at? 83%? I'm gonna, you know what? I'm gonna go find something else to do for a little bit. Well, this episode's over. Well, I'll give you 8 minutes. 8 minutes. We'll go do something else. But I'm gonna leave that alone, and we're just gonna see what happens. I'm gonna leave that water there. Better to have it and not need it than need it not have it. Let's come over here to this and let's see if they're backed up on ingots. So he's at 100% efficiency. He's at 100% efficiency, and he is at 100% efficiency. And this one, I see 32. No. He would definitely have got up to 100 by now. I don't think, what I'm trying to say is I don't think we need to add more of these guys. But all three of them being 100% efficient means that we get 180 frames per minute, aluminum frames per minute coming out of here. Let's go and see how many aluminum frames we need. We're producing 180 per minute. And if I need to, I can go look at the choo-choo train, and the choo-choo train will tell you on average how many aluminum, or like how many parts are coming in. So this first guy needs 75. That's 75. So these first two guys are pretty much taking up all the aluminum frames, and then this guy's picking up the remainder. And then that's it for the aluminum frames. Like, they end right there. So that's not bad. So our station here is providing aluminum frames at 100% efficiency for these two guys at least. Yeah. So even though this says 71%, I think we're going to start seeing this climb up to 100% efficiency. It just takes them so long to make these parts that to us, like this is going to climb up to 100% efficiency. This eventually is going to be probably going to fill up. Let's see what it max it gets to. It was 87 was its max. Maybe not. But when the train comes in, where's the train at? Did the train just leave? Yeah. It's just leaving down there right now. Let's go look over at the input for the, sorry, that's the autosave. Let's go look at the input terminal for the aluminum casings. And let's see what it says we get, like, per day or whatever. per trip or per minute. Man, look at that. Do I need some of that? I think I do. And this is the casing. That's 77 items per minute. And I'm pretty sure that this is the aluminum casing line. This is computers, I think. Yeah, so 77 per minute. So the base down below and the choo-choo train, they're providing enough aluminum casings for one of these blenders over here. And I think we're running 4 blenders. So our base is supplying 2 blenders. The choo-choo train is supplying a 3rd blender. The 4th blender, I don't think the 4th blender is making, it is. It is making aluminum. Yeah, it is making it. And this one's already out. So there's just one. There's one more we have to figure out how to feed. So there's only 75 more. And now here's the problem: is that I know that those aluminum casing places over there, they're not making. Oh no, we are. We're making 100% of the ingots. We are. Never mind. Never mind. If we can get all 4 of those refineries operating at 100%, we probably could put down one more. We probably could put down one more constructor running at 100%, and then that would feed maybe the last blender. But as of right now, we're running 3 out of 4 at 100%. But you wouldn't know because it's already got the yellow light on. But that's odd. We're making 180 per minute. This should not be a problem. Unless, of course, those are over there. They're not running at 100% anymore. I feel like they are, though. Let's go over there and check. Maybe something catastrophic happened. And they're not running at 100% anymore. I see 3 green, man. I see 3 green. I'll check them, but I think we're good. If the last one is 100%, then the ones previous are 100%. It is, yeah, there's no... Not quite sure what the problem is. Or I'm not quite sure why we had 3 yellows over there. There should be 180 coming in. That's 150, so there should be 30 left over. There should be... Those 2 should never turn off. The first 2 should always be green, period. I don't know why they're not. What is that little thing? What was that coming screaming over here? What was that? Is it one of those things? It was a motor. Oh, okay. Motors. I guess we don't have a lot of motors coming in over there. No, motors is our limiting factor for this. Here come the aluminum plates. Aluminum casings, excuse me. Oh! Oh, aluminum casings are pulled off from this thing too. Okay, that explains why that one over there was yellow, or why they're yellow. We have these things running. So that's aluminum casing. It needs 30s for a heat sink. So 30, 60, 90, 120. So we're losing 120 aluminum casings to this. Where are those heat sinks going? They're going over here to this thing. Are they the limiting factor? The heat sinks are not the limiting factor over here. It just takes forever to make them. Something has to be the limit. It is the heat sink is the limiting factor over here. It is heat sinks. So the aluminum casings. Okay, so we are using a lot of aluminum casings. We are going to have to go set up another aluminum refinery system. Yep, we sure are. Not this episode. Next episode. Oh, big is this map? Yep. Oh, look, there's one right there. And there's one right there. Purity is pure. Purity is normal. So we will be tapping into that one and making yet another aluminum. Making yet another aluminum factory to get aluminum casings to send up here. Because I want all these to be running at like 100% of peak efficiency. Yeah, it's got 200, 167. Cool. All right, look at that. We got 42 of those things built. Let's just take one moment before we say goodbye. Let's look in the top right-hand corner. We've been at 632 on the jetpack things. I'm calling the jetpack things the very first one in Phase 4. We've been at 632 of those for a while, so I'm pretty 100% certain that when I get done with the aluminum casings, or I might take a break from the aluminum casings and I might go check on that. And then I feel like we've been at 690 for the turbo things. I think we've been at 690 for those for a long time. So we might go check on those two next episode and give the aluminum a rest and come back to it a little bit later. But yeah, everything's looking great. We're making headway. This is the efficiency part. I probably am going to go to sleep tonight and allow this. No, not tonight, because it's Sunday night. At sometime in the near future, I'm going to go to sleep and let this just run all night long, just so some of this stuff can get made. But past that, thank you so much for watching. Have a great. Thank you for putting up with me too. I know that was a frustrating episode because I don't really know how to do the fluid stuff. And yes, I could go learn and watch someone else do it, and then I would come in and you would see me fix it in 2 seconds. But that's not, like, I mean, I don't know. Like, if you're going to play a game, then there are some things you need to learn. And yes, when you get frustrated enough, you can go and you can check out someone else. But I like learning, and I like trying to figure it out myself. I like seeing if the game makes sense to me and, you know, changing my ideas as I go along. But that's just my excuse. So thank you for putting up with it. I have to go. The cat is meowing. Goodbye. See you next time.